We will hear first this morning from Hilary Pennington from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. As Director of Education, Post-Secondary Success, and Special Initiatives for the Foundation, Hilary Pennington leads the Foundation's Post-Secondary Education Initiative and other efforts around one-time opportunities in the United States. She is a great leader in higher education and has done much in conjunction with Bill and Melinda Gates to define a vision for higher education and the impact that it can have in the lives of individuals in this country. The Gates Foundation was an early and significant supporter of the university and continues to be a wonderful supporter and friend of the university today. Before joining the foundation, Hilary served as a senior fellow at the Center for American Progress and as president and CEO of Jobs for the Future, a research and policy development organization which she co-founded. In her 22 years as president and CEO of Jobs for the Future, she helped the organization become one of the most influential in the country on issues of education, youth transitions, workforce development, and future work requirements. She also served on President Clinton's transition team and as co-chair of President Clinton's Advisory Committee on Technology. She is a graduate of the Yale School of Management and Yale College and holds a graduate degree in social anthropology from Oxford University and was a fellow at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government in 2000. Please welcome Hilary Pennington.
Thank you, Bob, for that great introduction. And it is a great, great privilege to be here with you today, celebrating your incredible accomplishments and the support of your family, the faculty, your mentors, and this great institution. When Bob asked if I would speak today, I said yes without thinking much about it, partly because it's hard not to say yes to Bob, and partly because I wanted the opportunity to visit WGU and get a better firsthand experience of this institution I admire so much. What I managed to gloss over was the part about being the commencement speaker. And that seems like a daunting responsibility. How can you possibly come up with a message equal to this moment and what it means in each of your lives? Yours are the stories we really want to hear, the wisdom to teach us, and the triumphs that inspire us. So I especially look forward to hearing the student speeches this morning, and I'm glad I don't have to follow them. I have excitement about WGU in part because of my own life experience. I was born in South Africa 8 years after the apartheid regime came into power. My father was South African and my mother American. We came back to the States, to St. Louis, when I was 3 because my father got a rare blood disease and he needed blood transfusions that he couldn't easily get in South Africa. He died shortly afterwards, leaving my mother with 3 children, 3 years old and under. And she did what so many do. She went to work. She started the first program in continuing education for women at Washington University in the 1960s. And this was a period of time when many women were entering the labor force for the first time, and they found they needed to go back for education and for skills they hadn't thought that they would need. My mother used to take me and my brother and my sister back to the university with her at night because that was the only time that continuing education classes could be offered. She had to coax the faculty into teaching them, and she fought hard to create some way that women could get academic credit for prior life experience. You could say, in a way, she was an early champion of competency-based education. She also fought to find decent educational opportunities for my sister, the youngest one of us, who was born with significant disabilities, learning disabilities. And in the days before there was the Individuals with Disabilities Act, there wasn't much available in the way of education opportunities for her. My sister was bused to an abysmal special education school district on the margins of St. Louis. And my mother worked to change her options. She wanted my sister to have a credential, and she helped to create a work-based learning program at Children's Hospital, where my sister trained to become a nurse's aide, which is what she is today. So early in my life, I learned how much people will sacrifice and how hard they will work for education, which is why I admire all of you so much. You are heroes, and you are pioneers. You're heroes because you have achieved something important and hard. You have completed degrees while you were working, and often while you were caring for family members. You and your families sacrificed a lot to get to this day. I heard last night about students who woke up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning every weekend in order to do schoolwork before their families woke up. I heard about dogs not walked for months as family members took care of them. And I heard about the struggles many of you took as you found a path back to education after life had gotten in the way. You're heroes. You kept going when things got hard. Maybe you didn't always have the support you deserved. Maybe you hit times when you felt like giving up, but you didn't. You kept going on, step by step, until you completed the goals you had set for yourselves. And in doing that, you have inspired the people around you, your family members, your coworkers, your friends who have seen what you have accomplished and can imagine accomplishing more for themselves as a result of what you have done. I can speak personally to say that you have inspired me. I am a junkie for education, as you heard in Bob's introduction, and I am actually in my 5th year of working on a 2-year master's degree, and you give me hope and determination to finish that degree this year. I have one more course to go. But as importantly as being heroes, you are pioneers, and you're pioneers because you chose an unconventional path. You came to a new kind of institution, one that puts students at the center of everything it does, one that challenges traditional ideas of what school means, that lets you start and progress at your own pace, that measures competency, progress by competency rather than seat time, and that combines the high tech of online learning with the high touch of dedicated faculty and mentors. At the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, we believe that WGU is at the forefront of a much-needed revolution in higher education. Our country urgently needs the kinds of success stories that each of you represents, and it needs many, many more institutions that challenge traditional notions of how, when, and where learning happens. Institutions that insist that high-quality learning doesn't need to cost an arm and a leg in tuition, not that you didn't pay plenty in tuition, and that students should be able to move further and faster towards their goals. So you are pioneers in blazing the way that many others will follow as our country figures out how to dramatically expand access to affordable, high-quality college education that puts degree completion as a key goal and organizes itself to make that likely. You may not know this, but the U.S. actually faces a big challenge in this regard. Most Americans believe that if you start college, you will finish it, and that's not true. Over the last 50 years, we as a country have done a great job at making college more accessible. We've more than doubled college enrollments since the 1980s, but our college completion rates have stayed flat. Most of the new college enrollees never graduate. Graduation rates in the U.S. are so low that we have lost our edge among other nations, and we now rank 10th in the world in college completion. Almost half of the students entering a 4-year college failed to get a degree after 6 years of study, despite racking up tens of thousands of dollars in debt. Their achievement rates fall far short of their dreams, and that is a tragedy. One reason for this is that colleges and universities are still set up as if their students are young, first-time students attending college full-time while their parents or someone else pays the bills. That kind of student is the minority in America today. The majority are students like you. 75% of undergraduates in the U.S. today are combining school and work and going to school part-time. Only 14% of them live on campus, and many have additional responsibilities as you do, like raising children or caring for family members. But on most campuses, the deck is stacked against them. Classes are offered primarily during working hours, financial aid isn't available for part-time students, and credits earned at one school don't easily transfer to another. And as a result, many students cycle in and out of college, stopping to work so that they can pay the rent and save the next semester's tuition. Most of them try more than one college before they finish. In fact, 60% of college graduates today now get their degrees from institutions other than the one where they started. And it costs them a lot in terms of time and money and false starts. Too often, they blame themselves rather than the system which responds so poorly to their needs. What other industry could treat its customers this way with so little consequence? So, at the Gates Foundation, we want to be part of changing that, and we are making a multi-year, multi-million-dollar investment to dramatically improve college completion in the U.S. and to support new delivery models like WGU that provide learning that is high quality, affordable, convenient, and student-centered. And you and WGU are changing that story as well. You're demonstrating that there are alternatives to the traditional system that work, and so to us, you are heroes and pioneers. As you celebrate today, I hope you will take a moment to reflect on what it is about you, each of you, that meant you succeeded in completing your degrees when so many people like you do not. Part of the reason is that you had the guts and the wisdom to choose WGU, but most of the reason is inside you. It is in the internal stories you've told yourselves that you can dream big and take risks and make things happen. And that is a great thing to take out into our needy world. It reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from a German poet, Goethe. And I have a framed copy of this in my office that a friend gave me when I started my job at the foundation. It talks about how the world shifts when we get clarity on something that we want to accomplish, and things start to happen to help us get there. Its message is that we ourselves are a force for change. And the final lines are, whatever you dream and can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, wisdom, and magic in it. You have that boldness and magic, and you will take it with you towards the next challenges that you will tackle and the next successes that you will achieve. You are heroes, you're pioneers, to all of us here today, and we salute you. Congratulations.